Are you on Facebook Live?
All right, guys. Welcome. Here we are with RE Hustle. We got I got a frog in my throat coming off the draft from last night. We got a couple of new listeners on with us. Don't pay attention to anything of the branding they're wearing. But we've got some really good guys here. We got Byron Mims and Matt Benoit. Byron Mims.
What's up, everyone?
Also with Berkshire Hathaway, and we've got Matt Benoit is on the title side. So, and then obviously we've got our boy Chad Holly there with the ACC background. So we'll jump right into it. We wanted to get this this live podcast together this morning, kind of touch base a little bit. What are you guys' thoughts on the draft last night? A little bit of semi-live sports going on during the quarantine.
It was definitely different. I think the most thing I missed out of the most is when Roger Goodell walked out and you didn't hear any of the booing from everyone. I think that was like the thing I missed the most, which it was funny because, you know, they did a little thing where they started booing them and they got a hashtag and everything. So I thought that was kind of funny.
Yeah.
I thought it was pretty cool too. He was definitely fumbling around a little bit. It was funny. So what
Byron, did you feel like it, I don't know, it felt like it went fast, like faster than normal, although like, by the time it was over, like, you know, obviously it was still late, but man, it just felt like the teams were putting their picks in, like not using their full time. Like there was only, you know, the one trade in the first, 14 picks or whatever. I was just like, what is going on? Are they just not wanting to talk to anybody, or they're not right there next to each other, or what?
Yeah, it did seem like it went a little faster. I don't know why, but it definitely did seem that way.
Yeah.
I think the media coverage was a little odd inside the players' houses. You know, some of them were a little strange. Like, did y'all, when your boy's CD, did you see when they pushed to him when y'all took the pick? I guess, I don't know if it was his girl or somebody was sitting next to him and he had an extra phone. She grabbed the phone. And he ripped it right out of her hand. Don't look at my phone. I was like, what is going on?
Yeah, there was definitely some funny stuff going on. To me, it was a trip just watching everybody's, like, their different houses and the different stuff, dynamics that were going on, you know. So I think that was kind of cool. You know, you kind of got an insight into them, you know, at their home and around their family.
And then some of them were all masked up, and some of them had no clue.
Yeah.
They didn't care about any of the quarantine.
Some of them, too, like, would have, like, you could see people, like, hanging out of the door with, like, a hand and a cell phone. And they're all like, you know, like telling them like they don't want it like a big crowd, but you could tell they had a ton of people in their house for this experience, but they were like trying to hide them while they were on camera and stuff. I'm like, wait, what's going on over there?
Yeah.
Matt, what'd you think, bud? What was your thoughts on everything last night?
I definitely thought it was different and, just interesting in watching even the media, the experts, they were stumbling around. You could tell there was delays. There was obviously a lot of issues with it, but it seemed to go very well for what they were dealing with. I got a kick out of seeing a lot of the coaches and how they're living. Seeing Bruce Arians on his back porch in a pair of shorts.
That was great.
After getting Tom Brady and Gronkowski, I'm sure he is just chilling. So
he's totally chilling.
He had the best draft setup, man. Right on that back porch, little monitor. Nothing too fancy. He just kind of relax, lean back in his chair, like, all right, we'll take Isaiah Simmons. We good. Or well, actually, they didn't take Isaiah Simmons. They ended up they traded up with the Patriots, the Niners to pick up that offensive lineman. But
what do you guys think? And I'll start with you, Matt. Or I'll start with Chad. I'll start with Chad, and we'll work our way around Robin here. What would you think was the most surprising pick or stood out the most to you?
Surprising, man. Honestly, I was a little surprised that a couple things, I guess. Number one, Andrew Thomas, the tackle from Georgia. I didn't think he would be the first tackle to go, and to go, number 4 to the Giants was a little surprising. But I think, coming into college season last year, he was supposed to be the best tackle. So I don't think there's anything wrong with that pick. I was a little surprised, and living in Jacksonville as long as I did, I pay attention to the Jags still a little bit. I was surprised that they went with that second cornerback at number 9. I really thought they would take a wide receiver.
Yeah.
But when you look at their team, they traded away Jalen Ramsey during the season last year. They traded AJ Bouye this past year. And then so they really didn't have much at cornerback. So maybe they had to. But I think maybe a little bit of a reach based on the position. The biggest takeaway, though, Redskins get the best player in the draft, Chase Young, far and away. Hopefully they don't ruin him. I have confidence in Riverboat Ron that he won't, and I think we got a stud for next few years to go on top of what else we've been building there on the defensive line. So we might not be able to play much offense, but hopefully we can stop people and keep teams close.
He was looking pretty hyped, boy. He was dancing the whole night. Yeah, he was looking ready to rock and roll. It reminds me of the young days of LeVar Arrington, man. We'll see what happens. What do you got there? What do you think was the most surprising thing to you, Byron?
I don't know if I had any surprises. I mean, honestly, I don't watch enough college football. I do watch some, but I've never been a big college fan. Like, I've always been a pro fan. So my college watching is limited, so I don't really pay that much attention to the players and stuff. I watch the big games, obviously. So I don't know any surprises. I mean, I'll focus on my Cowboys. I was a little shocked that they took a wide receiver, but I think having multiple weapons on offense is good. Also, I think there was probably nothing there defensively. So I think they took the best player that they thought they had. Obviously they thought that was on their board because they were stoked. Jerry sitting in his yacht, chilling.
$250 million yacht, just chilling.
Yeah,
man.
Absolutely chilling.
So I was a little surprised they took a wide receiver, but other than that, I don't know that I had any big surprises in the first round yet.
Right. How about you, Matt? What do you got? What do you think? What stood out to you that kind of it just shocked you, if there was a shock value to you?
Absolutely. Two big shockers. First off, Steeler Nation not having a first-round pick. First time in 54 years.
Well said.
How about that? New England come up on the board with a trade. I thought maybe, Steelers were sliding back in there, but nah, not happening. So, but as far as what I saw being picked, truly surprised that the Raiders took a cornerback, Damon Arnett. And I thought that was a very surprising pick. It wasn't ranked real high. Obviously, Gruden sees something in him, but just kind of shocked at that position. They wouldn't have taken a different player.
Yeah.
Gruden they talked about that a lot last night, too. Just even both of the draft guys, Jeremiah and Kuiper, were both second, third round grades for him. But you never know. You know how these GMs go, man. They fall in love with somebody and just think that that's the guy. And they're you look at the whole draft as a whole, the first round. I mean, the bottom half of the draft, there's a bunch of cornerbacks. So obviously, cornerback was an area need for a lot of teams. So probably reaching for a guy like that, they're like, well, if we don't get him here, we're not going to get him.
Yeah. Is there anything you think is a sleeper still out there?
I like some of the running backs that are still out there. I definitely am high on them. A lot of those guys I feel have capabilities to start right away. So the running backs will be the strong push today. And I think a lot of them, depending where they end up, could make a real impact.
Awesome. How'd you do in your fantasy football last year?
Well, I was in I cut it back, so I was only in 6 leagues last year. I got it down to 6. I was in the playoffs, had 1 victory, and 1 that I finished in the bottom 2 teams. So one rotten egg, but the rest of them were solid playoff appearances.
Chad, how'd you do last year? Did you take yours last year?
No.
That was a tough one. That was a tough one, wasn't it?
Yeah. No, I got hammered by injuries, man. All my guys got hurt, and I ended up, kind of in our draft, I took a few rookies as sleepers, but then my good backs got hurt, so I had to and I didn't want to get rid of them because they weren't going to be gone the whole year, so I had to pick up guys, and then I dropped my rookies, and they all ended up starting at the end of the year on playoff teams in my league. So yeah, it wasn't good.
Yeah, Byron, you in some leagues last year?
Yeah, man, I'm only half the man Matt is because I was only in 3 leagues, but I don't know how you do 6. That's way too many. I think one of my leagues I definitely made it to the championship game, but I lost. I swear I'm like the Buffalo Bills of fantasy
Oh,
football. I can make it to the
yeah.
championship game, but I can never win. I think my 2 other leagues, I don't think I made. One of them I was kind of low down. The other one, I think I just missed out on the playoffs. But
Those are the days, man. I love me some Don Beebe back then.
oh, Don Beebe was a beast.
He's the first one that came out with a triple helmet.
Yes, sir.
Well, good. Let's bring it back a little bit. Let's get some introductions so we can get our listeners to kind of get to know who you guys are. Byron, if you will, man, just kind of tell us who you are, what you're about.
Yeah, well, obviously my name's Byron. Mario, I've known you for a while. We used to play. I met you back in the day when we played basketball back at the AME Zion Church.
That's
over
right.
there with the fellas a few years back, and then you came back into my life kind of when you signed on to Berkshire Hathaway. Which is pretty awesome. I saw you in the office, and I was like, oh, there's Mario. And then we kind of hooked back up and started playing ball again a little bit. But I mean, I tell you what, I'm getting old, man. My knees are starting to hurt. But yeah, so and we've been in real estate. We're both at Berkshire Hathaway, man. So
awesome.
It's
good, man. We're happy to have you, man. I'm glad we got reconnected because it's and now, if y'all don't know, Byron's playing in our old man's league. So that's pretty cool. We still got that going on for our knees and our hips and our joints. Matt, tell us a little bit about yourself, man. Introduce everybody.
Absolutely. Matt Benoit with Broker Title Services, providing title insurance for individuals that are buying or refinancing homes in North and South Carolina. Grew up in Pittsburgh. That's where I got the Steeler Nation. Came to Charlotte 25 years ago. Started doing business with Mario in, I believe, 2012 in this crazy real estate game. Obviously, you and I have supported each other's business for years, and I appreciate you having me on today.
Awesome, man. Well, welcome to the crowd.
Now, Matt, you and Mario actually went to the same school, right? But a few years apart.
Exactly.
You all both went to IUP, right?
Exactly. IUP. That's right. The Harvard of state schools, man.
Hey, man. It had the Harvard colors, that's for sure. It's Harvard in a tank top white. But anyways, listen, obviously you guys are fans of your respective teams, but as we look at the quarantine right now and the pandemic, what are you guys doing to kind of fill that void with not being able to watch sports? What is it that you're actually filling yourself with in that time frame, if it's on TV or just something else to do to breach that gap? Matt, go ahead.
Yeah, absolutely. The COVID-19 virus has taught me how technically inefficient I was. I think I was still faxing people like in January. So it has definitely pressed me to step up my game as far as learning a little bit more about technology, using the Zooms and the Skypes. But to pass time with no sports, obviously a lot of working around the house, trying to, clean this place up while I got some free time, paint a room, maybe, try to do a little yard work when I can.
Awesome. Byron, how about yourself, man? What are you doing to fill that sports void?
Man, it's tough, but I'm kind of like Matt. We just honestly, I haven't been watching a lot of TV, so it's allowed me for more time. Hang out with the fam. We're cooking dinners a lot more. Definitely doing stuff around the house. We've been planning on doing a home office, but that kind of got sped up. I built a desktop for us. We put an office together. I'm still not complete because you can see behind me, there's still no pictures on the wall. It's a little barren back there.
Just waiting for the artist when the artist is allowed to come back as an essential, correct?
That's right. So, but yeah, that and, yard work, trying to clean up around the house, do stuff around the house, just stay in touch with my clients, let them know I'm here for them, just kind of talk to them, make sure they're all right, those kind of things.
That's awesome, man. That's a good segue to this, this question I've got. What do you feel is the biggest mistake our industry has done during this COVID-19 situation? Matt, what do you think the biggest mistake has been tossed out there?
Well, it's, you know, the initial shock of, you know, just not reassuring individuals that homes are still being listed. It's still a very good time to look at making any kind of real estate transaction. You know, don't be afraid to continue to shop for homes or be afraid to list your house because of this. There are people in positions to help you with that. And I think the industry just lacked the ability to communicate that.
Yeah, that's a great point. Absolutely. I'm glad you stamped right on that. Byron, what do you think, man?
I mean, I don't know for sure, but my guess is that I'm guessing a lot of agents are taking this time and they're just like, oh, I can't do anything. So they're absolutely probably just sitting around Netflixing and chilling, doing whatever. You know, when there's still a lot of stuff you can do, you got to try to stay busy again. Like, I mean, reach out to your clients. I mean, just talk to them, you know, how you doing? Is there anything I can do for you? You know, just try to reach out, stay in touch. I mean, there's ways to stay busy. I mean, obviously there's some stuff we can't do, but there's a lot of stuff we can do. And you know, just like a lot of people are talking about, you just got to pivot. You got to figure out, you know, how to adapt and how to move on, because business is always going to change, man. There's always going to be stuff that changes. So you're either going to get left behind or you're going to figure out a way to move forward. So just trying to move forward, figure out what I need to do to keep my business rolling.
Absolutely, and well said. Well said. I appreciate that, man. What's the biggest positive for you, Byron, that you kind of taken away from this so far, being forced into this kind of position as we all are?
Man, honestly, it's kind of cool because it's like a lot more family time. You know, it's not, you know, my wife is working from home. Thank God she gets to work, you know, too, you know, because I know a lot of people don't have that ability right now. But it's like, you know, it's a little more laid back. You know, she's home. It's not a rush for dinner at night. Like, you know, when she gets done working, she just walks downstairs, you know, but we kind of have fun with it. You know, she walks to the bottom of the stairs and she's like, honey, I'm home. I'm like, oh, how was your day? You know, we just kind of, you know, you got to just roll with the punches, you know, but I think the biggest thing is just kind of, you know, family time and hanging out and, you know, that kind of thing. I will say this, having to teach my daughter is not a good thing. Like that's the worst part about this. I think a lot of people are going to come out of this, and not that teachers already get a bad rap and should get paid more, but I think people are really going to say, "Oh my God, my teacher needs to get paid more because they got to put up with it."
Right? They're gonna start a real COVID fund, right? Start transferring money the right way. You know, to that point, I know you've got young kids like myself, and I think I think you posted something that was pretty cool. It started a little bit of a wave of getting people to virtually say happy birthday or put birthday comments out there to your daughter. I thought that was really cool. So do you mind reflecting on that really quickly?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I mean, my youngest, she was 7, she was turning 8. And I mean, I'd seen some people doing this on Facebook too. And I thought it was really cool. And you know, a lot of times, you know, I think people just, you know, text a little message or they just put it on Facebook, happy birthday, you know, and I think it's better to reach out because I always like to reach out to people, you know, but I thought it'd be cool, you know, if people just did a video so she could see it, you know, and see their faces and see them because, I mean, we're from Texas, all our family's in Texas, so she doesn't get to see a lot of her family, you know, that much, you know, personally. So video I thought would be a really cool way. And then we asked, you know, some of the neighbors and some of her friends in the neighborhood to drive by and do a little birthday parade for her while she was outside, which I thought was really cool, man. I mean, honestly, it brought me to tears a little bit. I had to hold back and, you know, but it was awesome. So, you know, I thanked all of them. It was pretty cool.
Yeah, that video moment was fantastic. I was glad that you shared that. That's pretty cool. And even your daughter's responses. I don't know if you guys saw it. Byron was dressed up, acting silly. I mean, it was pretty cool. It was good stuff. Good pops to you, Byron, on being a great dad, man. That was great. Matt, what is one of the biggest positives that you got that COVID has kind of brought into your life?
That gave me the ability to really take the time to look at my business and, you know, reflect on what's worked in the past, what hasn't, kind of put a new business plan together, truly kind of look at how business might change and what I need to do in the future to stay competitive. And then, of course, you know, much like what Byron said, getting to spend some time with family, really look at what's truly important in life. Right. You know, also, how can I get involved to help others that were maybe struggling more than my family is in this period of time?
Yeah. I know you're just coming off a knee injury and you're doing some stuff there. Is there anything that you've been trying to do creatively to play with fitness right now?
Well, trying to walk in the neighborhood, trying to, work out a little bit at home. I've been doing a lot of curls with 12-ounce beers. That's been working out my right arm a little bit.
Chad, do you want to share your fitness regimen that you got working?
You mean the couch to the fridge?
How many steps is that?
Well, it's a lot, man. It's probably about 8 or 9. Sometimes it depends on which way I go around the kitchen island.
Couple squats. That's right. Got to count the squats.
But I was telling Mario a story the other day. So when the kind of the stay-at-home order first happened, and sitting at the house, and it's like, I don't know, 3 o'clock in the afternoon, kind of had all my work done already, and I was like, man, I'm bored. What am I gonna do? So I used to run, right? This was like 5 or 6 years ago before my back surgeries. I used to enjoy it. I used to enjoy it a little bit. So I was like, you know what? I'm gonna go for a run. So I grabbed my ear pods, pop them in, get my music playing, sneakers on, everything. I step out of my house. I started running for about 10 minutes, and then my knees were just like, yo, what are you doing? Are you silly right now? And so I had to stop running. I walked around for another probably 20, 30 minutes around my neighborhood and stuff. So I got a little bit of good exercise in there, but I haven't been back since. And that was, that was about a month ago. So.
Oh my gosh. Well, look, man, this is the reason for this cast is it's where screw ups became build-ups. And I know that Chad and I have shared some things through a couple of these episodes. I wanted to see if you guys were willing to share some type of a life lesson that kind of stuck with you, whether it be recently in your teens or your young adulthood, something that's helped you through maybe your personal life or your professional life. Matt, you want to share first?
Sure. Back in 2000, that's when I got into the real estate game. In 2004, I started my own subprime mortgage company. And in 4 short years, I destroyed the American economy. And after doing that, it's a life lesson of, obviously now in my business, I look to the future. And it gives me that ability to always be trying to better yourself, master your craft. Those types of life lessons, when you lose, don't look at it as a beat down, but an educational moment.
Excellent. Great share. Byron, you got something you want to share with us, man?
Yeah, I mean, I'm kind of like Matt on that. Like, I mean, I've had plenty of failures in my life, or mess ups, screw ups, doing dumb stuff like you and Chad were talking about your little, I forget what you called it, the game,
give
or whatever.
Give and go.
Some of that stuff. But I think the biggest thing you got to take away from that is, like Matt said, is you can't reflect on those. You got to build off those, so make sure you learn from your mistakes and don't be scared to fail. Like, I mean, I think I had a big issue with that when I was younger. Like, I didn't try stuff that I should have tried or put effort into stuff because of fear of failure. Whereas, I mean, I should have just tried. Who cares if I fail? I'm going to learn from it, right? So, and you're going to better yourself. So I think you just got to take those mistakes, those failures, and don't look at them as failures. Look at them as learning experiences that are going to help you build yourself up and make you better for the future. So.
Absolutely. I think that's a huge point. I think a lot of us are taught not to make mistakes, right? Where don't do that, don't do this, don't do that. That's all you hear as a young child or a young adult growing up in our world, if you will. And I try to do differently with my kids rather than say no. I'm like, go ahead. You got one way to figure this out. That's either take the leap and you figure out what the consequences of that leap are. But you're right. Because if we instill fear inside of our kids as they grow, then they are fearful of taking those types of leaps later on in their future. And to your point, man, it's all about, for me, that's the only way I know how to learn is through failure. I'd rather do it my way and fail my own way, or then go and read someone else's failures that's turned them into successes. For me, that's the way I lead my life, is to take as many risks as I can, as calculated risks. But, I'd rather go foot forward and kind of see what happens. Great point, man. Great shares, guys. So look, in closing, I really appreciate you guys jumping in real fast. But Matt, I know, if you will, just kind of share a way, if it's possible, for us to get a hold of Broker Title Services? What's the easiest way to get a hold of that? And then the same thing with you, Byron, if you've got like a tagline for either one of you guys or a way for people to reach out to you.
Absolutely. Yeah. The easiest way to contact Broker Title Services is just simply go to our website, brokertitleservicesincorporated.com. And, on there, you can do your transactions. You have the ability to contact us. That's going to be the easiest way at this time. Something to take away from Broker Title is, we are ensuring that your home's past does not affect your family's future.
Nice. Well said. Nice. Byron.
You can find me on www.byronmims@bhhscarolinas.com. Mims is spelled M as in Mary I, M as in Mary S. I got to say that all the time because no one ever gets it right when you tell them. Or you can, follow me on my Instagram and Facebook. Links are on my website page. So feel free to follow me or reach out to me, 972-741-5501. And yes, that's a Texas number.
Nice. Well, before we leave, what are y'all's projections? Where do you see your team in the NFL at the end of the season? Where are you at, Matt?
Steelers are kind of rebuilding. So I'm going to say I'm hoping for a 9-7 season, maybe sneak into that new playoff spot and backdoor our way in. A lot's going to depend on whether we can stay healthy.
Awesome. I hate to hear what you're going to say, but let's hear what you got there, Byron.
I'm going to say it. Super Bowl. No, I'm just kidding. I'm not.
True, spoken like a true Cowboy.
I know that. No, that's what all Cowboys fans say. I'm not really that crazy though. I don't think so. I think we're definitely a playoff team this year. Depending on how our defense. I think our defense is always the biggest question. And if our linebackers can stay healthy, I think we got two of the best linebackers in the league. If they can stay healthy and I think the Clinton Dix. I'm going to love saying that all year too. But, I think that's a big addition for us. Losing Byron Jones, not just because he's named after me, but, I think he was a great cornerback. But I think we'll probably be like 11-6. I think we'll definitely make the playoffs this year, possibly NFC Championship game. But I don't know about a Super Bowl. It's hard to say those kind of things.
I hear you. Well, Chad, I'll let you speak for the Redskins. Go ahead. Tell us what you got.
Boo.
Oh, boy. Well, in typical Redskin fan fashion, I'm probably going to predict between 6 wins and 9 wins. That's kind of the normal thing. I don't think it'll be as painful as it was last year. But, at this point, as a Redskins fan, that's pretty much what they've done for the last, 10, 15 years. They either are really bad or they win somewhere between 6 and, 8 games. So
no faith in the riverboat.
We got to give him some time, right? I think next year will be probably like a 6 or 7 win team, and then the year after we'll see that next leap. Again, a lot of it is going to depend on Dwayne Haskins, what he can do. I think defensively we got a chance to turn around real quick with Ron and then Jack Del Rio, heading up the defense. Yeah. So it really kind of depends on that. If it gets a big turnaround, which they've got some pieces there that they can, then, it could be maybe a little bit more competitive, maybe a shot at the playoffs. But at the end of the day, you still got to score points.
Well, listen, guys, I appreciate y'all getting up early, hanging out with us. RE Hustle, check us out, share the podcast. And just remember, Redskins will obviously be higher up on the rankings between the Pittsburgh Steelers and the Dallas Cowboys. And that's sign it off before you can get anything in. Talk to you guys later. Peace out.
See you guys
later.